Hello, everyone. Welcome to Shara Silence Virtual Launch. I'm super excited to be here. So, I'm going to be I'm going to be welcoming my host any moment from now. She'll be joining us, and let me look and see. Okay, she's here. So,
Hello, everyone. Okay. Good evening and welcome from wherever, from all over the world and wherever you're coming from. We believe that there are people here from Palestine, despite the war happening there. We believe there are people tuning in from there. Welcome. Yeah. So we're just going to wait for. Hi. Okay. We're just going to take some time out to make a bit of a test run for what we're doing. And okay, we just have a few minutes to wait for people to come up, and we kick it off for the virtual launch of Shattered Silence podcast. I don't know about you, but I'm excited as well. So we will officially kick things off, say, in the next 3 to 5 minutes. So welcome. Use the comment section to tell us where you're joining in from. We want to hear and see all of it. Don't be shy. We're very interested. Let us know where you're joining in from. Yeah. Okay. I can see you, Chukwubrikem Felix Amefule. I can see you, Madu John. I can see you, Subaru Faith Oluwashun. I can see you guys. Yeah, Chibike from Lagos, Nigeria. This is feeling like all those that part on TikTok where they say follow for follow. Yes, let's go. Okay, you. Okay, a lot of Lagosians over here. Oluwa Darasimi. Okay. Thank you. Please keep the energy coming. I'm loving the energy, guys. Let's keep it coming. Yeah. Let's keep the energy coming. And our minor technical issue has been rectified, and we are back. Okay, hey guys, and welcome to the Shattered Silence podcast virtual launch. And a little backstory though. Okay, so I met Linda, met her 2 weeks ago for the first time in our lives at a at a speaking conference, and we just exchanged numbers, and the rest is history. And she's doing this. I'm like, okay, interesting. And what even brought us together? I think I delivered a speech somewhere that tackles some issues women face in the society. And she tells me that this is part of what she does and tries to address in her podcast. The moment she said that, I'm like, you're my guy. You are definitely my guy, because I think we also need more voices tackling some of these things. And she's part of those people. And when she said she was launching her podcast virtually, I was very excited about that. Extremely excited. I'm happy for it. My name is China Loromogo Eze, and I'm your host for this evening. I am Igbo, and the name is pretty long, obviously, but feel free to call me Nalu, okay? Nalu, Nalu. Okay, that's that can work for people of all tribes, people of all continents. Yeah, can work for pretty much every and anybody. Okay, because I'd like to ensure everybody can hear me. Please, can you use the comment or the chat box to tell me you can hear me loud and clear? Please, please use the chat and tell me if you can hear me. Let's go, let's go. I just want to ensure that everybody can hear me. Use the comments and let me know you can hear me so I know I'm not talking to myself. I really, I mean, I'm not the blind per se, but okay, thank you so much, Felix. You can hear me. Got it. All right. Okay. Once again, I welcome you guys to this virtual lunch. Each and every one of us here have met Linda in one life or the other. It's one life basically. But who knows? You probably met her in your dream. It's real. People meet people in dreams and then see them in real life. It happens. I've never been a victim, but I've had things happen. So I am right when I say you've met her in a different life. Okay, so we are here. Is it that someone recommended you or you're excited for her? We know her one way or the other. If anything, this podcast is bringing all of us together and we're excited about it. Okay, so so sit tight and cross your belts, get your popcorns. Yeah, it's gonna be a movie. It's gonna be lots of learning. Our keynote speaker is loaded. Our panelists are loaded. These people are going to share lots of their experiences, and you can ask questions. Understand that you can ask questions. We're not here. I'm not here to rap. Okay, yeah. Thank you guys. You can hear me. We're not here to do a lot of rapping, and I'm done. Please. Once our speakers are speaking, feel free to ask your questions. Now, the exciting thing about this podcast is that 11 episodes for the season one has been shot. Everything is done. And once this virtual launch is over, episode one goes live immediately. So we're not waiting. Hey, we have finished. We have finished the launch. Oh. Let me brief. Let us brief before we start it. Baby girl, that's not how it's gonna happen. Okay, we are ready to start giving it out back to back. Everything has been edited. Everything is shot. We're ready, literally. Okay, so that's it. The podcast is ready, and it's gonna blow your minds. I can count on that. Okay, so I'm going to have our speaker, sorry, our convener here to tell us everything she knows and understands, and basically for her to give her speech to set things in motion because not everybody have a virtual launch for their podcast. You know, people just start podcasts and then tell you, yes, we're cheating relationship. Tell you, so who is better, man or woman? Do you see those kind of podcasts? Yeah, they do. Who is better, man or woman? So that kind of thing. But Linda's taking her time to do this. She has shot, she's edited, she is having a virtual launch for it, and we're here for all of it. We're supporting her, we're excited for her, and everything on that. Okay, so some of us know Linda very well, but some of us do not know who she is and everything she has been onto. And that's what I'm going to try to read out to you guys right now, and we'll have her up. Okay. So Linda is a creative and versatile content creator with experience in strategic planning, developing and executing marketing campaigns that build brand reputation, drive product awareness, and quality lead generation. She has over 4 years of experience in digital content creation, social media, digital marketing, and over 3 years of experience in traditional media. We're talking newspaper, radio, and television, reporting and implementing projects for multiple industry sectors. So she's conversant with user experiences through life. So it's for everyone. It's not a thing about, it's not about age, it's not about gender. Yeah, even if you're any of those things these white people are doing, even if you are trans money, trans male, trans man, all of those things, it's for you, because you're human and you're going through life, and reading and learn about people's experiences helps you do that. So in no further ado, with no further ado, on no further ado, I don't know how they used to say it, but you understand that it's an ado at the end, right? So, by the way, we're going to welcome Linda right now for her welcome speech. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Linda. Yay! Please, I want to see the energy in the comment section. Please put emojis that you're clapping, put emojis, be excited for Linda. Let's go, guys. Welcome, Linda. How are you doing? Linda, you might be muted, okay? You might be muted because I think your mouth's moving, but you're not saying anything.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. This technical
Right,
thing.
right. Welcome back.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really love the energy. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone that has joined so far. Please do us to share to your contacts, share to your pastor, share to your imam, share to everybody
Everybody.
literally. Okay.
All right.
So
You have the floor, man.
thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. I just want to have the whole floor. I mean, why not? Okay, so Charlotte Silence podcast. What is it all about? Why are we gathered here today? So I mean, I'm gonna start obviously. I'm gonna be sharing a slide so we get to understand how I came about this whole idea of Charlotte Silence. What was running through my mind? What was I thinking? Was I just about to hump on another trending thing in on social media or you know online? Well, we do have to find out by the time I'm done with this slide. So sit tight, draw your chairs closer, and let's do this. Okay, so April this year, okay, why did I come about, how did I come up with the whole idea and concept of Shattered Silence? So April this year, I faced a personal blow. Okay, so it was so personal, and I really felt that, I mean, if I had known better, if someone had told me take precautionary measures, if someone has told me this is about to happen to you in the next 1 month, you need to do this, you need to do that, I would have literally listened. Even though I might be stubborn, but I would have listened. Okay, but I never saw what came coming. I never saw it coming, and it just happened. I was first. It was on first 1 week. I wasn't myself, but then one thing about me is whenever something happens to me, I draw strength from it. Okay, so at a point, I stopped thinking about it as myself. I started thinking in a broader perspective. People would be going through things that if they were at least knowledgeable about, they would have taken precautionary measures. So I started thinking, how can I help people, you know, get to know, get to, have an idea, get to, have make an informed decision basically. So I started thinking, okay, I should have a podcast that tackles that have people come on the show to talk about their personal experiences so that someone listening on the flip side would be better informed to make informed decisions. Okay, so it's about sharing experiences so that someone listening, your audience, the audience, would know better. And that informed the variety of topics that the first season had to encompass. Okay. So, I mean, that was basically how the whole thing came about. Yeah. So, and before I went into details on having my podcast, I thought, okay, are people actually even watching podcasts at all? Are people excited about? Are people, do people go on the internet to do research and in order to make a decision? You know, whatever decision, could be buying, could be, but this time around it's all about making informed life decision. And from the researches I did, I found out that yeah, people actually, you know, try to make researches, you know, before they make decision. At least a good number of people. But then, what sets my podcast aside from other podcasts? Because there are podcasts serving the purpose of sharing people's experiences. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna come here and take all the glory. Oh, my podcast is about to do something new. Now there are podcasts. We have Talking Moments. We have Tea by Tay. We have with Chew Day. We have um, you know, Healing with Maria. We have a whole lot. However, all of these podcasts try to look for familiar faces, try to look for celebrities and all of that, which is no problem. I mean, if that's what they want to do, that's fine. But my podcast wants to specifically touch the core Africans, that person that cannot even converse very well in English, that person that just wants her story out there. Okay, so I basically went for the unknown faces, I would like to call them, although some of the faces are not. Please, I mean, the unknown is in quotes. Yeah. So yeah, so I went for that basically, and here we are. So the podcast is basically, the mission is to build um you know, help people through sharing experiences. Okay, so for this launch right now, so if you're joining for this launch, what are you going to be benefiting? Okay, because obviously the podcast could only accommodate 11 episodes because of various reasons. Okay, I was only able to accommodate 11 episodes with 15 guests. Some episode had 2 guests sit at a time. So but I want to hit that my mission. So how can I hit my mission? By having a virtual launch, so that in this virtual launch, even if you weren't part of the guests, you will come and listen and hear from people who have shared their experiences, experts, life certified life coaches, and have people actually talk about their experiences, and you ask questions, because in this podcast you don't get to ask questions, you don't get to meet certified life coaches. It's just me in the studio with my guests. We talk, we basically converse, and then she goes or he goes and you watch it. But there's that avenue to ask questions, to seek professional help is not there. So that is what this virtual launch is going to be addressing, so that I can hit my mission, you know, faster. Do you get? So that is what this virtual launch is all about. I have curated an interesting activities for you. I have keynote speakers, we have panel sessions, we have interlude music, you have opportunity to ask questions, and you can even take it further in case you want to, you know, talk with any of the panelists one on one. You know, you're free. You can ask questions either by writing there on the comment section or by requesting to come up here on the stage and voice your question. I mean, voice it out and, you know, air your opinion. We all see in your face. So grab your popcorn, call your friend. If you've not shared this video, do share it. Share it on your WhatsApp status, share it on your contact, so that people can also learn as you're learning. Okay, because like I said, we can only learn where we share experiences. Thank you so much. Um, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'm gonna be getting back to Chinalu Mogo, my delectable host, to take it off from here.
Okay. Thank you so much, Linda. You guys heard all that. You know, when she was talking, I actually took a trip, not exactly a trip down memory lane, but I think I went back to all the podcasts that I know that were really using familiar faces. So you see, I think that's something significant to note about Shattered Silence. Um, it tries to tell let's put it, some kind of untold stories, people who you don't even know them, but you're learning using their experiences. That's actually epic. So let's give it up once again for Linda. That is a good one. And this is going pretty well, and I'm excited for that. This has started in a good way. Okay, so we want to read out we want to go into the next stage, which is where we get to interact. After that segment, we want to talk with a keynote speaker who is loaded as well. Um, so we're gonna learn from this person, and after we interact, after we're taught by this person, we're going to ask questions. Please, 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 please feel free to ask questions anytime, anywhere. Nobody is an island. That's what we say, right? And we want this launch to be as interactive. Okay, so we have already seen that the Shattered Silence podcast going to is basically learning through people's experiences. That's what it's going to be. And if you would like, I'd really like for you to, if you have anything that you're grateful for this year already and you want to share with us, you can type in the comments. If you want to use your mic, please do not hesitate to tell us that. Okay? This is the first form of interaction that we want to do. We are in the last lap of 2023, literally. And what are you most grateful for this year? Let us know. Think about it. I mean, somehow you don't even need to think about it because, oh my God, this is the best part of my life. I know some things really changed. Sapa dealt with you, obviously. If he didn't deal with you, please signify so we can know the rich kids among us. So I can, both of us can roll, those kind of things. Okay, so we know Sapa dealt with a lot of us, most of us, all of us, and we had depression could have set in at some point, or bad news and stuff like that. But please, I personally, and I'm sure everyone wants to know, what you're most grateful for this year in 2023. What are you most grateful for? Please use the comments. Do not act like you're not listening to this. We want you to tell us about it. We're listening. We could learn from that. We could implement how it worked out for you. Or maybe the thing is too long for you to type. Yeah, and you're typing. Yeah, I want to believe some people are typing and it's going to take a while before the comment pops up over here. We're waiting. We would like to really hear what you're most grateful for in this 2023. I think I'll start. Yes, I'm going to open the floor, but I'm shy. Oh my God. Okay, we have a comment. Let's see if the person's okay. SB wants to use the mic, but he's in the public transport. Okay, I'm so sorry, SB. That's sad. Probably when you are light, and if we were still on this, you would speak. Okay, thank you. So I will kick it off. So I want to say, somehow perhaps like, I'm grateful for my man, yeah, and my man. Thank you to my man. But I am single to stupor. Children of God, I am single to stupor. I mean, I planned it. This is how I planned it out in my head. Before 2023, I'll be like, I did it. Oh my God, I've got a man. All those people that said I couldn't get a man, come and see. That was how it played out in my head. Like, you know, baby will be like, baby, what do you need? Do you need this? Do you need that? I'm like, no, baby, I just want you to rub my leg. And then, you know, but here we are, ending 2023 as a single lady. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Amen. Okay, that's not so bad, right? That's not so bad. You agree with me? It's not so bad, right? I mean, I hear you saying yes, and that's a yes. I don't care what you're saying. So that was how I planned it out in my head, and we go again. But it's not fueled by desperation. I always say love will come when it will come, not too early, not too late, or whenever. Okay, it's just the whole you're still single, the whole disgusting, kind of disgusting. Like even when you're a young person, when you're young in your early 20s, and people are wondering you're in your early 20s, and people are still wondering when you bring a man home. What? I am literally just 20. I mean, I'm not saying my age. You can guess that, whatever. But let's say that person is literally just 21, 20. I already telling the person when the person bringing a man to the house, make the person kill the person's self. I think we all need to breathe. We need to breathe as Africans because I feel this is an African thing. I think Asians can get like that too because sometimes when I interact with partially some of my Indian friends, you hear them say their moms do the same thing. They're like, Aprita, when are you bringing a man to the house? Don't you say you're getting old? Don't you try that again? I want you to bring a man to the house. What are you doing with your life? You want to go to school and so they do the whole thing. They do that thing too, right? So I think Asians and Africans are kind of similar in some ways. So nobody's pressure anybody, but there's something I'm grateful for this 2023, and I am going to share it right now. Aww. Okay. Mia Tadeleke said she's grateful for her business, its expansion, and increase in finances. Oh my God. Congratulations, Miat. I am so happy for you. Oh, this is what we like to see. Women in business. This is what we like to see. Felix is grateful for the grace of turning challenges to stepping stones. Everybody's got good news. I love it. I have good news. I'm sure I do. Okay, we're going to continue this. Please, if you have experiences, do not forget. Have it to the back of your mind or type it somewhere so you can just copy and paste in the chat box. We want to read it. We want to hear it. We want to interact with you. Okay. Do not forget. We'll come back right into it. Comments can hold for now. I think our keynote speaker is ready to. Okay. SB is very grateful for God for guiding and providing for him or her through master's pursuits. I wrapped it up in July. Congratulations. It is not easy, but he did it. Okay, so I am going to introduce our keynote speaker. She is not exactly here, but we can get an idea of who she is, what she's done, and we can just kick it off, okay? All right. So, John Anuoluwa Olagundudu is a behavioral scientist who helps people across borders to gain the right perspective and lead a purpose-driven life. She does all of this as a coach, counselor, behavioral scientist, and a creative who is passionate about bringing timely truth for timely intervention. Joan is the founder and director of Lifesaver Intervention Initiative, an initiative that empowers people with life skills and entrepreneurship skills. The online community shared insights on family life,
Hello, please can you hear me? Um,
Okay, she is here. All
okay.
right. We were told you were running late a bit. I didn't know you already joined us. Ladies and gentlemen, Joan Anolua Olugunjudu. Please give her a round of applause in the comment section. She's looking You look beautiful, by the way, man. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. The stage is yours. Blow our minds like you always do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Linda. It's such a pleasure. I love public speaking and I always love every opportunity I get to share with people. So actually I have my slide there. I don't know if I can share, but I know I sent it to Linda. I don't know if she can send it to you, if someone can help me with it, but I'm just going to be talking about speaking out. I love the podcast. I love the fact that it's about people sharing their stories. A lot of people suffer in silence. A lot of people, they die in silence. People go through things. There is no one, absolutely no one that has not gone through some sort of challenge at one point or the other in their life. But it's so unfortunate that somehow, some way, people don't get to share them with the right people, or they don't even have the right people within them. And then we've even heard stories of people who shared, in confidence. They shared what was happening to them in confidence, and people took advantage of them. But that does not mean we should not still share, because there is power in sharing. Very quickly, I'm going to start with my own story, but let me see if I can. Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. So, please, can you go to the next slide? Okay, my name is Joan Anulua. Let me introduce myself. Okay, I think my bio has been read already, so I think I'll just skip that. Yes, so my own story. Let's go down memory lane. Um, I was raised by single mom. Mind you, my dad is still alive, but I would not say that my dad was present in my life. I remember when I was in university, this was about 14, 15 years ago when I was in university. And I was angry with my dad because I felt he was missing in my life. He was not playing his role as a father. Um, I think the number of times my dad has wished me happy birthday in my entire life is not up to maybe 5 or 6 times. But my last birthday was in August, but he wished me happy birthday. But every other time, for several times, and I felt like my aunties played a role in making him do that. So I got into university, and by the way, I'm a behavioral scientist if you listen to my bio while it was being read, and I'm a family life practitioner. That is what I do, and I have several expressions. So, having that background, I'm aware that there was this part of me that was neglected as a child. That father figure was missing in my life. And so when I got into the university, there was this person I liked. But unfortunately, I don't want to buzz with the story because I've got just 10 minutes. Unfortunately, I don't know. I think he also liked me, but he never said anything due to some circumstances. We were executives in the fellowship, and there was some sort of rule that you cannot go into a relationship. So when we handed over, I was expecting him to ask me out, but he didn't. And then much later, someone else who was interested in being in a relationship with me came to me and told me, "Oh, this person you actually like, oh, is actually in another relationship." And guess what? I went to confront him, not in a bad way, because we're not in a relationship. I was actually led on. And I asked him, I learned you're in a relationship. He was like, oh, how did you find out? I'm like, well, I found out and he didn't deny it. Now, that was a very painful experience for me, not just because I was led on, but because I already have an history and a background of being neglected, especially from my own story, coming from the kind of father I had, and how he did not play his role very well. Now, for some of you listening, or for those that may listen eventually, Your story might not be like mine, or your story might be similar. Some of you, it might be some sort of disappointment from a colleague at work, or even a best friend, or integrity issues where, they implicated you and put you in a spot that, um, you're innocent of. Whichever the story may be, whatever the story may be, I'm going to be sharing with us certain things about the need to speak out and how to go about it. So please, can we go to the next slide? Okay, communication. Now, communication is the impacting or exchanging of information by speaking, writing, or using some other medium. Now, it's important to communicate how we feel. It's important to communicate the experiences we have, especially the painful one. I know that usually everybody wants to share their success stories on LinkedIn, on social media, but you hardly see people come out to share, something really bad that is going on with them. And it takes a lot of vulnerability and courage to actually communicate something that is going on with you that may not necessarily be nice. So, communication is very, very important in dealing with difficult situations. Communication is actually very important in speaking out, because when you actually speak out, you're actually communicating. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, so for someone out there, maybe you're going through something and you actually want to talk to someone. You're convinced that you should actually speak out. You're convinced that whatever you're going through, you should not bear it alone. You're convinced that you're even confused. You don't even know how to handle it. The pain is so much, it's engulfing you. You don't even know if you can trust your friend or someone around you with information. Different things go through our minds when we are facing things that actually challenge us. But I'm going to be sharing these 4 tips about overcoming the fear of speaking out. Number one is to see it as an outlet. You see, every time you actually share what you're experiencing and what you're going through, you're giving it an outlet. And so it is taking off the pressure from you and letting it out. But every time you're going through something and you keep it within yourself, you don't share it with anyone, you don't tell anyone about it, it stays with you. You bear the pressure, and this has accounted for some of the terrible diseases we have out there, like blood pressure, heart diseases. These two sicknesses are strongly related to anxiety, unforgiveness, offenses, emotional instability. These things actually the major reasons for high blood pressure, heart attacks, and things like that. So, one major reason why you should actually share whatever you're going through is because you're giving it an outlet. It's like when you want to fart. Yeah, the example may be a bit extreme, but you want to fart, that pressure is coming. But sometimes you might find yourself in a public location and you know that if this thing should come out, you might be embarrassing yourself either with the smell or with the sound. So sometimes you keep it in. And you know how uncomfortable that can be, unless you can actually, make a smarter move by maybe walking out of that place and going to use the restroom. That would be the wise thing to do. But for some persons, they may try to keep it in and all. Now, when you're doing that, it is not even healthy. It is not the right way to handle it. The best thing would have been to excuse yourself and go use the restroom and release that thing and then come back and sit down. So when you don't share what you're going through, when you don't share those experiences, you're bottling it in, and it can have side effects even on your health. For the sake of time, I'll just move on. The next thing is positive talk, positive self talk. You see, oftentimes, and this is clinically proven, when you share what you're going through, you're also talking to yourself. It is therapeutic. So you're also gaining some sort of healing. I've been in situations where I was unable to even explain what I was feeling or how I was going through. I mean, what I was going through. But when I eventually found someone to speak to, I found out that just in the process of sharing that experience, I was able to heal myself. Can you hear me?
can hear you. You're back now.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, apologies for that. A call came in, but I've dropped a message and no one should call me for now. Yeah, so positive self-talk. I was talking about positive self-talk. So it is therapeutic. So in the course of sharing what I'm saying, in the course of sharing what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing, I realize I find answers to the questions I've been asking myself. And this is not just true with me, this is true with many other people. And I don't know if there's anyone here, if you've ever been to, I mean, if you've ever gone for therapy, or if you've ever, used the service of a therapist. A therapist is not somebody that will be telling you what to do. Most of the time, you will do 90% of the talking when you go for therapy. A therapy session actually helps you to give an outlet to that which you've been feeling. So a therapist is somebody that gives you a listening ear. So at the end of the day, you're realizing things about yourself. You're getting to know things about yourself that you don't even know, which leads me to the last point. I think I made a typo in my presentation here. Know your venue is not the right thing. Yeah, so I'll skip that. I'll just go to gain a new perspective. So when you're sharing things about yourself, when you're sharing that painful experience, number one, you're giving it an outlet. Number two, you're having a positive self-talk. The third thing is that you're gaining a new perspective. So new insights begin to dawn on you. In fact, it even empowers you and frees you from some sort of bondage, some sort of mental, you know, let me call it mindset, limiting mindset that you've developed. Let me give an example. So the story I shared to you about the guy that led me on in school, I can share it freely now because I've moved on from it. And one of the things that helped me move on from it was because I was always sharing the experience. And so the more I could share the experience, the more I was freeing myself from the impact it had on me. It had, like I said, it had a very strong impact, not just because of what it did, but because of my own family background as well. So every time you're sharing something painful, something difficult, something challenging, in the course of doing that, you will gain a new perspective. And this is what actually happens with therapy. When you go and see your therapy, you get to share your therapist. The major role your therapist will be playing is to ask you guiding questions, not leading questions. There's a difference between a guiding question and a leading question. A good therapist would ask you guiding questions that will help you discover things about the situation, about yourself, about your circumstances that you may not have seen. So that is just it in a nutshell, actually. So why am I saying all of this? It is important to speak out. I don't know what you've experienced. I don't know what you've gone through. I don't know what you've been through. But I want you to know that when you give expression to those thoughts, when you give expressions to those experiences, you're releasing yourself, you're freeing yourself of it, you're getting a new perspective, and you're healing. There's this book by Bishop T.D. Jakes, Emotions, and he talked about the fact that men cry. In fact, it is healthy to cry. So when you go through difficult challenges and you're trying to be hard, you're not facing it, you're running away from it, you will still meet it. They call it avoidant. It is an avoidant way of doing things. So we have the anxious attachment, we have the avoidant attachment. These are psychological terms. Let me not bore you with that. But when you're not facing your emotions, when you're not facing how you feel, so when you go through experiences and you feel pain, it's important that you feel it. When you go through things and you feel anger, feel it. When you go through things that make you happy and you feel joy, enjoy it. Our emotions are there for a reason. They are actually sending a message to us. So you need to pay attention to how you feel. So when you feel pain, it is giving you a message, it is telling you something. So it's important to listen to what your emotions are telling you. I'm not saying you should be led by your emotions. Those are two different things. You can listen to your emotions and not be led by it. Let me give you an example. You might be angry, and in your anger, you might have this desire to slap someone. At that time, that will not be the right thing to do. You can feel the anger, but it will not be right to slap a person, even if your anger is making you to feel like slapping the person. you know. But some persons have not been able to master their emotions, and that's why you see people when they're angry, they are breaking the TV, they are breaking the dishes, the glasses. Some even, take out the knife and they want to stab someone. Now that has gone extreme. People like that need therapy and some sort of rehabilitation, because the anger you feel should not get you to that point where you actually want to harm another human being. So for the sake of time, I'll just move to the next slide, please. Yeah, so in speaking out, I'm going to be sharing some tips you should remember. The first one is that there are professionals who are ready to help you. Now, in this age we are in the information age. With technology, you can do so much. You can reach out to people. For example, I'm in Nigeria. I think Linda is in Ghana, and probably there are some other persons who are joining from other countries of the world. See how we're able to leverage technology. So, there are professionals that are ready to help you. Like I said, I'm in the family life profession. I have clients who are not even in Nigeria. I have clients who book sessions with me. I have clients in Canada. I have clients in Czech Republic. So I'm in Nigeria, but I'm serving people across the world. So there are professionals that are ready to help you. So even if you don't want someone that can talk to you physically, or you cannot even leave your house, or for whatever reason, you can actually meet people online. But let's say you now want a physical one. I'm sure around you there should be someone around you. But you can also leverage the internet. So you can go online and check people. I'm also here. You can check me out if you need my services. But the number one thing is that there are professionals who are ready to help you. So don't suffer in silence. Don't suffer in silence. You know, um, apart from that, you can even follow some accounts on social media. I tell people not to waste their data. Don't follow people on Instagram, on LinkedIn, or on Twitter who are not adding value to your life. Don't follow people that I don't know how to explain this, but this is just it. Follow people that add value to your life. Follow people that share content that educates you, that inspires you, that motivates you, that help you live a more healthy life, that spurs you to purpose. So look out for professionals who can help you. And you might say that their money or their cost is high, but there's something my pastor used to say, that make sure your ignorance is not costing you more. I'll say that again. Make sure your ignorance is not costing you more. So if you need to actually go ahead to pay for something, please do, because the long-term effect of doing that will be better than living in ignorance. So please get a professional, get their services, and you'll be shocked that there are so many free resources. So there are some things you might have to pay for, but there are also lots of free resources. So it's up to you to make it a goal to actually help yourself, because like I said, you need an outlet, and when you get this outlet, it will be some sort of positive self-talk for you, and it will also help you gain new perspective. So don't handle those painful or difficult situations alone. Get a professional. There is always a huge difference when you involve a professional than when you are just talking to a random person. A professional will definitely do better than a random person. For the sake of time, I'll move to the next point. And the next point is there are communities where you can get help. Sorry, no, no, no. I'm still on the previous slide. Yes, thank you. There are communities where you can get help and see other people with their stories. Now, it is very, very important to identify people who have similar needs and have similar goals like you. So, for example, when you're going through a difficult situation and you're fortunate to meet another person who has gone through something similar, it makes it easier. It makes you to understand that, oh, I'm not alone in this. You know, most of the time we mystify the challenges and the problems we face because we think we are the only one who has gone through it. But when you find out that, oh, I'm not even the only one, we are actually much, it gives some sort of relief. It helps you to know that, okay, I'm not here alone, and then you can now create a support system for each other. So let me give an example. Let's say, God forbid, a person that has been raped before. That's very, very painful. That's one of the worst thing that can happen to a person, literally. and it can be a lot to deal with, and a lot of people don't even recover from it for their lifetime. But when you join a community of other people that have experienced something like that, it helps you to actually know that, okay, I'm not alone in this. And then when you also meet another person that has experienced something like that, they can also share how they were able to deal with it. Maybe books they watched, communities they joined. I said books they watched, books they read, podcasts they listened to. Those things can help. I know a particular lady who was raped when she was, is it a child or a teenager? And now she's the founder of Gender Mobile. And so she has turned her pain to purpose. She has been traveling all over the world, doing great things and helping women who have been raped before. So it was a painful experience, but she has been able to turn it into something that is purposeful. And I'm sure that she could not have done that without the help of the right people, the right community. I'm personally big on communities. As an individual, I currently have up to like almost 10 different communities, literally. I have for singles, I have for married, I have for lifesaver, I have for goals and clarity, because community is very important. We are not meant to do life alone. You're not meant to live life alone. You're meant to live life with other people. So if you're listening to this right now and you've been doing life alone, I want to advise you to stop. I'm giving you a first class advice to stop. Don't do life alone. Join communities. There are free ones and there are paid ones. Of course, the paid ones might not give you what the free ones will do, but you can start where you are. If you cannot afford a paid community, join a free one. I have free communities and I have paid ones. I have both. So if you cannot join a paid community, there are lots of free communities you can join. So please join them. And when you do know that you can afford to join a paid community, don't hesitate to join, because the benefits are there are a lot. And I'll give you an example. So yesterday, like I said, I have a community called the 7D Smart Plug. And what do? We talk about our goals, we gain clarity, we stay accountable to each other to achieve our goals. And one of my members on that community is a paid community. She's not in the country, she's in UK. She's in UK, I'm in Nigeria. So we had our review meeting yesterday, and she was telling me about the challenge she has been having. Like we share our challenges, we share our success stories, and we help each other out. So she was telling me that she had a goal to share more on her YouTube page, but she has not even been able to share at all on her YouTube page. But she has been sharing on Instagram. I was not like, oh, do you realize that you can actually convert the contents you've been sharing on your Instagram to your YouTube? So you can convert your Instagram reels to YouTube shorts. And she was like, wow, she never even thought about that. And she was like, thank you so much for this. That she has lots of Instagram reels and she's just going to go and convert them to YouTube shorts. Now, see what community has done. She also shared how, some other things have happened to her in some other community she belongs to, and how they've been able to help each other. So that is just one among several benefits of being in a community. For the sake of time, I'll move to the next point. Now, when you speak out, you lead the way for many others to speak up as well. When you speak out, I'm still on the last slide. Yes. So when you speak out, you make a way for other people to speak up too. Let me use the lady that did Gender Mobile, for example. Because she actually came out to share her story that, this is what I've gone through and this is what I'm developing. She became a voice for other ladies who have gone through similar experiences to speak out, to also come and share their stories. There was a recent there was a viral content about a lady. I think her husband was actually cheating on her by sleeping with, I think, the niece or nephew. I cannot remember the full story. But she spoke out. Now that is going to help other women who are enduring things like that to speak out. I know a very prominent speaker. Some of you might even know her name is Joyce Meyer. Her own father was abusing her sexually, and her mother was aware, but she did not speak out. So I don't know what your story is. I don't know what your experience is, but I want to advise you to speak out. Don't keep quiet. Now, this lady that spoke out about her husband who is cheating on her by sleeping with a nephew has encouraged many other women who are suffering in silence to do the same. Abuse have been normalized in so many African countries, and we need to speak up against those things. We need to be the example. So when you see something that is going wrong around you, be the voice of change. Be the one to speak out. Don't perpetuate evil by keeping quiet. Somebody said that the wrong things continue because the good people refuse to say nothing. So if you see something going wrong around you, don't keep quiet, speak out. And if it's a story that has to do with you, please speak out, share your story. Your story is valid, your story matters, and your story can actually help and inspire somebody. And the last point is life is transient. So why not live it? So why suffer in silence? Why die in silence? Why feel the pain alone when you can share it and get comfort and get empathy, get the listening ear, get someone to even check up on you? I have some person in my community that when they go through very difficult situations, I make it a point of duty to actually check up on them every single day for say like 1 week until I know they're doing well. So, and I do that. So imagine if they didn't share what they were going through with me. I will now see the need to check up on them because problems are not written on people's faces. I mean, there's so much makeup and all can cover, you know. So please share it. So let's move to the last slide, which is the recap. Yeah. So the recap is share your story. Your story matters, and your story can actually be the beginning of something that can transform lives and destinies. I don't know if anyone has questions. We'll call it a day. Any questions?
Yes, please. If you have questions, put them in the comments. John is going to take your questions right now. She has spoken beautifully. Thank you so much for that wonderful session, John. That's a beautiful one. We want to bombard her with questions. I mean, she spoke about a very sensitive thing about speaking out. It's very difficult for a lot of people. I used to be like that, but praise the Lord, I'm not anymore. So if you have questions, please, 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 please. She's here. She's all ours to taking our questions. You can, if you want to use your mic to ask the question, please signify so we can give you the floor, or you type it in the chat box. If we do not have any questions, we'll assume that everybody understood the need to speak out. We understood the need to be expressive, to talk about our problems, talk about situations to people without fear of being judged or criticized and anything. We understood all of that. No questions? You lie. Please ask your questions. Please ask your questions. While we're waiting for that, I really want to commend. Maybe after I tell this story, not exactly a story, but just make a comment. And if there are no questions, I guess we'll just call it a day and assume everybody understood what Mrs. John has said. So I think something happened to me around June. So around June, and I felt, okay, this is horrible. This is very, very horrible. And but at that moment, the first thing I wanted to do was call someone. I just wanted to, can I talk to you? Can I just tell you how it's doing me right now? I just want to rant. That was like, and I felt better after ranting.
That's it, an
Like,
outlet.
these things work magic.
That's just it.
Honestly,
Yeah,
they do work magic. It's
absolutely.
beautiful. I was just like, I just want to talk. Like, after clearing my head, clearing my mind, and that moment's there, breathe. Okay. So this is a lesson, moral lesson. Do talk about whatever it is that it's going on around you. There's someone to listen. Yeah. And see, we have Mrs. here. You can reach out to her to talk. I'm sure her bill is not
Yeah.
too much.
You can find me on social media at
Yeah.
June and YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. It's June and Oluwa. Yeah.
All right. Saying this, I'm guessing nobody has any questions. We'll take that. Please, you can check out Joan on all social media handles. You can follow her. Please, and you can even connect with her, ask her these questions in her DM, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So we'll call it a day on that segment. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Mrs. Joan. We love you and keep
Thank you.
shining like you are already. Oh my God.
Thank you. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you. Okay. Uh, guys, welcome back. We're going to continue from where we were. And we're going to take the virtual lunch up a notch. We're going to take it up a notch by having something very interesting right now. But before we're going to have musical interlude. But I'm not talking about that part where they play something like Zazu, then try to shake your body. Please, this is a virtual lunch. We don't want a Zazu over here. We don't do that here. Do you understand? So calm your nerves. When I say musical interlude, I'm not talking properly or whatever. Or I mean, we could if you could divide Davido for a virtual lunch eventually, right, Linda? I know you get that. She could do that. I trust her. But this is not what that's about. This is for, sorry about that. This is for a calm, soothing music for the ears so that, we've heard a lot of talking lately. I think you want something calm and soothing that would just, you know, flow. So, on that note, we're going to have our musical interlude. But before that, we want to let's get to, introduce you to our panelists because after the musical interlude, we're going to have the panel session. I am also very excited about that because they're going to be addressing a lot of issues. These women are what should I call them? Have faced through things and are maestros in their fields. They are dons and pretty much know what they are doing. They're going to be answering questions, and that's a very important segment that you do not want to miss. Do you get? You do not want to. This is like a tip of the iceberg of what you're going to expect from this podcast when it's released immediately. Okay, so we're going to have our panelists. Okay, so we're going to be the first person is Tito Lua Sam Oladapo. Please, you guys are going to pardon my Yoruba, right? You're going to pardon my Yoruba. I'm not exactly perfect in it, please. Okay, so I'm going to be reading out who they are, and then we'll quickly have our musical interlude, and the rest they say is history. Okay? All right. So let's do this. Titolua Samoladapo is an experienced human resources manager with a demonstrated history of working in the religious institutions industry. Titolua is skilled in human resources, customer service, management, project planning, writer, and change management. Recently, she has been vocal about the experience with life, her journey as a Christian, and most recently with vaginismus in the early years of your marriage. In this panel session theme, breaking onto her into whichever. But I bumped into her very recently when she had that interview with um what is his name again? Apricot Doctor. That was where I heard her talk about the vaginismus thing for the first time, and it was mind blowing. And since then, I have just been standing by the sidelines and listening to her talk. So I'm really looking forward to this. I don't know about you, but don't go nowhere. You want to stay for this. You want to stay for this. Honestly, you want to listen to this woman. Okay? All right. Next person is Muta Mbamalo. Okay? Muta Mbamalo is the second panelist. She is a certified life coach and an entrepreneur who is passionate about health and wellness. To take care of the health part, she sets up Jumbo Sports, Nigeria's biggest gym, sports spa, and fitness equipment store with locations in Victoria Island, Lagos, Ikeja, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. As a certified life coach, she has mentors and counsels people on divergent life issues. During this panel session, on the theme Breaking Stigma Through Sharing Experiences. She will be letting us know if there's anything like sharing too much. If yes, then how much of sharing is too much? And guide us through how to navigate the vulnerability of opening up to others. So please stick around. We're about to get started. Hmm, women doing, I don't know. Please, if you're also excited like I am, be in the comment section and also show your excitement, please. By all means, yes, as excited as I am, keep doing that. Okay, we'll continue. The next person is Faith Faith Suberu. Okay. TB champion, as she prefers to be referred to, Faith Suberu lost her dad to tuberculosis only to find out that she has tuberculosis. She had no choice than to fight it despite the stigmatization that comes with it. At the long run, she conquered, now free from TB, a TB champion per excellence. She shares her story and hopes to inspire and serve as a ray of hope to those going through same or other ailments where they're often stigmatized. She is dedicated to fighting tuberculosis with her partnership with NGOs like KNCB, Tuberculosis Foundation, and will stop at nothing to reduce.
Hello, everyone. I don't know if you can still hear China Little Mogul. Okay, but um, let me know in the comment section if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, stopped hearing you at some point.
I can hear you. I can see you too. Okay, so the next panelist is Islamiyat Ibinwumi Adeleke. She is a social entrepreneur and transformation coach, a happy single mom of one, and most importantly, a woman for God and nations. She focused on finding lasting solutions to people's struggles, particularly in the areas of finance and dependency challenges. This is getting more exciting. These are powerful women, and we're going to be listening and hearing from them. But before we get into that, we're just going to have a brief session of our musical interlude. So don't go nowhere and let's do this. Just breathe, and the music will take over.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that beautiful one, Midday. Thank you so much. That's beautiful. You can follow her on Instagram at midday underscore flutes, or is it flutes underscore midday? But there is a midday. Okay, it's there. Yeah, midday
Yeah.
underscore flutes. Yes, thank you so much, Midday, for that beautiful one. And for those who do not know, yes, I actually do sing. It was like, I'll rise up. That's beautiful already, you can tell. Okay, so that's to just put us in the mood for the panel session. Our panelists already joining in. We have Islamia Tadeleke here, and we have Muta. In fact, everyone is set, and we're about to kick things off. This panel session is going to be controlled and handled by Linda. So sit tight. It's about to get, okay, you guys, you ladies have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so thank you so much, Mijay. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you for honoring the invitation. Please, Mijay is open in case you want to hire her for your event. She didn't ask me to do this, but come on. Can I agree with me that she's good? Please let's know in the comment section if you enjoyed Mijay. Please. Nobody even showed her love. Oh. Okay, thank you so much. So thank you. So we're about to kick off the panel session. Do well to follow us on. I mean, if you're watching from YouTube. Do well to follow the YouTube channel to get more of this. So we're gonna be speaking on the theme breaking stigma through sharing experiences. And I carefully curated all the panelists we have here. They are majority of them are people who have already come up with their different stories, and I've already gone ahead to share them. So since we are, I don't want to say we are budding, since we are budding story experience sharers currently. So it's all, I think it's very, imperative that we learn from these people who have already started sharing their stories. And I also have a certified life coach amongst the panelists who will be telling us how much of sharing is too much. Before we go and overshare, because they say we should be sharing. Anyway, I don't even know if there is anything like too much sharing. She will just get to tell us. So I'm going to be starting with Titolua. She has already hinted me that she has somewhere to be at this point. So please, I'm going to be
Yeah.
starting with you. Thank you. But first off, thank you for joining as well. You recently came out with your story, your experience. To me, that is very personal. I don't know how you were able to be open with your story, and that is why we are here, so that you get to tell us um what we can do. So I would like to start by asking, okay, how were you able to overcome shyness? Were you shy at some point? What did you prep yourself? First of all, you get to tell us your story for people who are getting to see you for the first time. And when you're done a little bit, just tell us how one who is suffering from shy, who is being shy, especially when it comes to private, very, very, very private issues like yours, how can we or how can one overcome shyness?
Hi, Linda. Thank you for having me. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. Um, I've never been a shy child. I've always been a very, almost a talkative. That's what I mean. A lot of my teachers and parents and people say I've always been the person that was always talking. I always had something to say. My opinion was I was bold. So I really don't know that I had to battle with that, in all fairness, because I think that usually whatever God wants to use you to do, you are in grace to do it. And he usually just uses your, what I say, your strength. Cool. Sorry, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry, I got a call. Um, Okay, so I was saying that God usually uses your strength, usually engraces you for where He has called you to be, because He doesn't use He does He's not a God that will use what you are not naturally strengthened, for. So yeah, basically, that's it. I'd never been a shy person. I really don't know which of my stories you even saw recently, because I've always been the kind of person that will share whatever it is that I feel led to share, want to, that I feel like a lot of people are going through and need like a face or like a person to, stand with. So yeah, that answers your question.
Okay, so for people who are actually shy, for someone who
Okay.
is shy, how can they overcome the shyness and come out and share their
Okay.
story?
Okay. Usually, I always say that the discomfort of sharing is lesser in intensity than the fulfillment of freedom that other people will enjoy from your sharing. Let me take it again. Or let me put it like this: the fulfillment of freedom that other people would enjoy by your sharing your experience far outweighs the discomfort of shyness. Shyness is actually not inborn, is learned. Children learn to be a child, a newborn who hasn't had influence of the society is a bold child. Children, they say what is on their mind, they communicate, they express, so we learn shyness actually. It's a learned behavior, but it can be learned very early, it can be learned subconsciously. It's usually not as it may not be directly taught, okay? However, so for people that are shy, you want to understand why. Okay, I understand it's a journey, so I don't literally push people. I don't tell them, okay, share, because I mean, yeah, as much as I say that the fulfillment of others, even that initial awkwardness can be a lot for a person. So I tell people to work on the reason for their being shy. Usually they've been silenced as a child. I ask them very simple questions like, when last were you bold? When last were you bold without all of, like, when was the last time? Why? Growing up, I was told to keep quiet a lot. I was told I talk a lot. But I think because I just have a natural affinity for being bold, it was easy for me to get over. For some people, because they've been told, oh, you talk a lot, they just naturally pipe down and shut down. So when you understand and heal from that trauma, you are able to, do like, would I say, opportunity cost of, okay, this is what I other people or the world seeks to achieve, right? Or it seeks to gain from my sharing, then you share. Because listen to me, that thing that you think is only you that went through it, I will tell you that at least there are 10 women in the world that have gone through it. That's even a far stretch, because usually we don't go through things that are not common. So yeah, I would tell anybody who is shy to think about the goodness that you're doing for the world, the society, and work on this shyness that you learned, subconsciously, unconsciously, consciously, that you learned. Heal from it so that you can be a blessing to the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're
I
very
really
welcome.
learned a lot from that. But I'm going to ask you a follow up question, since like you already said, you've got somewhere to go to. So now, when we've worked on this thing and we want to share, where do we start? Like right now, I have a podcast. I've just invited a very handful of people that are within my reach, people that are within my circle, my network. So for people who are ready to share a burning desire to let people know about your experience and learn from it, where can one start?
You start from whatever you have. Everybody, well, in this generation, you have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have Instagram, you have WhatsApp status. You have, I mean, there are platforms, and that's what they're called, platforms. Raised, share. So the thing is, do you want to be famous or do you want to be influential? Because most times people want to share. You have to check the motive for which you're sharing. That's how you know whether you're oversharing or not. What is the motive for sharing this? Is it so that I can be clapped for? Is it so that I can be lauded? Is it so that I can influence people? So when you know that this is why, it start from where you are. Nowhere is too small. Amongst your WhatsApp group, most of the stories that I'm sharing now, those have been close to me from a younger, time, or a late, they know about it. I've been sharing it. So there's no history or there's no experience that I share now that at least five people don't know about, because I've talked to them about it. But most times we want to share to gain fame. While that can be good, that is not a valid reason to, build life. So you want to be influential, you want to be valuable, then create value wherever you are. Start practicing, because then greater platforms will come. But it will come as much as you practice, and you ensure that your motive is always in the right place when you're sharing.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't know, do we have questions for Titiolua before she leaves? Please drop your questions in the comment section. And if you are interested in coming up to the stage and talking, please identify, and the link will be sent to you. Okay, please ask your questions. Thank you. So, Islamiyat, I'm sorry if I murdered your name. Are you ready? Okay, thank you.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I recently bumped up. I saw you a few weeks ago, and you were sharing your personal story, your personal experience. I mean, to a very large gathering of strangers, and there's something to share your story behind the camera and sharing it real life, where people will actually be looking at you and be staring at you like, ah, really, really. So I'm gonna be asking you, right? In your view, what does sharing your personal experience? You think it play? What role does it play in breaking societal stigmas? And yeah, because I was listening to your introduction, you're a change maker, I heard everything read about you. So I think this question, you'll be like in the best position to talk about it. Do you think sharing your personal stories even break societal misconceptions at all? Because your story was actually is actually one that I call a society will actually frown at it. I don't know if want to share with us and yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, hi. Good evening. So, yeah. For me, I mean, it was very tough initially when it happened. So I'll just share it briefly for those people that don't know me. My name is Lamia, and I got pregnant after school, just after school. But before then, growing up, I was this family that everyone looked at like among children. This one is that star child, right? Because while I was in primary school, I was doing very well. I was the head girl in primary school. In secondary school, I became the head girl as well. In university, I was the departmental president. And then, I was always the class rep from 100 level down to 400 level. So I had this vision for my life. I knew where I wanted to go to. I was a very big dreamer, right? And then just after school, after graduation, I got pregnant, and it was very tough. It was very tough because at that point, my father said I was his like major investment amongst all the children. So he was very disappointed, and he said anything that has to do with me, he's taking his hands, off. So at that point, I became alone, and not alone like, but like mentally, emotionally, I was down. Everything was just scattered for me, right? So at that point when it happened, I was termed a prostitute, basically. I was termed a promiscuous person, and it looked like I was always going out and trying to, act as a saint outside. But inside, I'm always doing, one or two things and all of that. And the pregnancy showed, just it was like a proof to say that no, this lady is a very irresponsible person. That was what a lot of people, termed it as. And I've always been this very jovial person, this person who is always out there, confident, excited person. But when it happened, I had to, hide. I had to hide. You wouldn't see me online again. You wouldn't see me talk to my friends anymore because it was just a very hard phase for me. I recall
it's 18
that
hours.
At that point I was serving in Port Harcourt, and everybody was always asking, "And where's your husband? Where's your husband?" I had a fake ring. My mom had to, send me a fake ring, and I had my finger as a, to act as a married, especially husband. Oh, he doesn't stay here. Let's come up with something, right? So I couldn't come out and say this is what happened. This is what my life is like. It just wasn't a good thing to talk about, right? So over time, as I grew, because it affected me mentally, emotionally, every aspect you can think of, because I didn't even get the support that I wanted from my partner, and so I was all alone in it. I always say that one thing that is actually God. God helped me come out of it. He helped me pull through the old challenges, right? And then one thing is sharing my experience has actually been able to give confidence to other ladies, because when I come out there and I'm like, this is what I have gone through or I'm going through. Ladies who have actually gone through that to come and they're like, are you serious? That's my case as well. Okay, tell me your story. Let us relate. And then they feel confident and they feel like, oh, okay, that I've gone through this. Oh, I'm not actually a bad person. It's just a phase in my life. It's just that thing that just happened. And you know how they say everybody's a sinner, or everybody has one or two things in their closet, right? It's just because the world is aware of this. They term it as a stigma. Everybody has one or two skeletons in their cupboard, right? So for the fact that the world has gotten to know about us, there's really nothing to shy about. Yes, initially it might be very crazy and something you really cannot share, but over time as you go, you need to understand that it's just part of life, and your story is your power. Your challenges, I always say, is your power. I'm always glad that I had to go through what I had to go through, because it's what has molded me into becoming the strong woman I am today, into becoming the resilient woman I am today. And I have realized something, that God made me go through all that I went through 5 years ago. I mean, my baby is 5 years now, so that I can be that light for other women. So that I can be that force that will help other women that are going through it to come out of hiding. All right. So yeah, that's it basically. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, I I totally enjoyed the fact that sharing made you have a group of people that could relate to your story. Before I come to you, Faith, let me talk to Madam Umota. You are a certified life coach. Um, so we are basically asking from a professional angle. So she Islamiat has talked about her personal life, how she began to share, and Faith had tuberculosis, and she conquered it, and she's going to tell us about that in a jiffy. So, at what point should we start sharing? Should we stop sharing? Should we even At what point should we start sharing or stop sharing? And at what point can we say we are sharing too much? Because a lot of us are personal. We love our personal life. We love to keep our personal life private. So how can we, share without sharing too much from a professional point of view?
Okay. Thank you for having me, Linda. And Islamiat, thank you for sharing your stories with us.
Thank you.
It's really like giving us a bit of yourself. That's so kind of you. So, the earlier keynote speaker talked about talking. So talking is important. And talking is important for both the person who has the experience and who the person is sharing to. But it's important at what time, at what point of your experience you begin to speak out, you begin to talk, you begin to, relate with others. So if you are drowning, and that's not the time to start to tell people this is how to swim, this is how to get saved, you know. So it's important where the person who is telling the story, where the person is. It's always better to share your story in retrospect, okay? when you have overcome. But even when you go through, it's good to only talk with people who can strengthen you, unless you would lose yourself. People would trample upon you. You're not yet strong enough to make other people strong. So it's a question of, what's the objective of talking? Why do I want to share my story with people? The objective is love. The objective is to strengthen other people. If that's the objective, then it's good. But when we have a negative objective, then it becomes very, very difficult for us, because we're going to want to be sharing while we're still hurting. Hurting people only hurt other people. So it's good to heal, to get strong before you start to share with the world. But at that point, when you're still hurting, you can share with people who would support you, so you're not alone. Like Islamayat, she shared with her mom, with her family, even though there are people who strengthened her and some people who put her down. So you see what I mean. You always have people who are ready to throw the arrows. So you want to take those bullets when you have your bulletproof around you. So you're saying, how much should you share? So the guide there is your objective. So if you are objective and goal driven about what you want to achieve, you would know exactly how much not to share. So you see, in our stories in life, we find out that we're not in it alone. Islamayat was not in this alone. Joyce Meyer was not in it alone. um, Dr. Oluwale's wife was not in it alone. So you find out that there are people that you're in this whole journey with, and you don't want to do exactly what they did to you, because most times it's hurting, you're shy, and people laugh at you. So there are people who are causal to your pain and to your hurt and to your struggle or your challenge, to get back at them by sharing your story in such a way that it turns out to be arrows against other people. That's not really what you want to achieve. You want to make other people stronger. Yes. Including the people who hurt you, including people who caused your pain or the challenge or the difficulty. You don't you, it, This is how it is. Okay, this is what I share with my clients. People who hurt you, first of all, they are bigger than you. Okay, they're stronger than you. That's how they could hurt you. And so when they push you, you fall to the ground, and then you stand up, and then you start to deal with it. And then you find out at some point they're the same height with you, they're the same size with you, because you're dealing with it, you're facing it. And if you heal so well, it will get to the point where they are smaller than you. They're like children to you, they're like babies. And when even they push you or they smack at you, you feel pity for them. So that's how to know where you are, how strong you are, how you've healed. When those things that cause pain to you, or the people that bring pain to you, look like children, and whatever they do doesn't harm you, doesn't hurt you, doesn't aggravate the pain, then you know you're strong enough to begin. So Islamite is saying to us, 5 years ago, she's dealt with quite a lot of things, and that big problem suddenly is become containerized, and she's in control. Joyce Meyer only started talking when she had dealt with this thing. She'd gone through a marriage or two. Her father at some point had, departed. So it was easier for her to share that story without necessarily throwing an arrow, but she was able to talk. She had clarity about the harm, the hurt that she suffered. Okay. How much should you share? As long as you're not hurting, as long as you're speaking from love, as long as you're speaking to give strength and from the point of strength, then you're in a good place to share. Then you're sharing the right things.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I hope we are taking notes. Okay. Make sure you begin to share when you are no longer hurting. Very, very important. So I want to ask you another question. I think Faith has dropped off while we are hoping to get her back on the call. So as a life coach, I can imagine you must have met people who are really hesitant to open up. Okay, and it's not from the fact that they are still hurting. Oh, maybe they are, but people who are like really advanced. So you know, how can one navigate the vulnerability of opening up to others? Because actually they want to share, but it's not just in them to share. They can't come around. So how can they navigate that and be
So,
vulnerable?
yeah. So you see, you're so right. Your question is so real because I find people come to talk with me, come for therapy, come for counseling and for coaching, and you know, they really don't want to talk about what happened. They don't know how to begin to talk about it. One of the things they want to be sure about is that they can trust who they're talking to. And that's at the hurting stage, not when people have healed and they're ready to help other people. So at the stage when people are hurting, really what they want is to know they can trust somebody and that you can listen to them. There's some background noise because I'm in a public area. Um, I hope that doesn't interfere too much. Okay, so people want to know that they can trust who is listening. If it's a controlled crowd, if it's a podcast, people want to know who am I going to be talking to? Is it a group of women? Are men there? Are they going to take advantage of me? Is my story going to be heard where I have not given consent, for my story to be heard? Are you going to act, with what you're hearing without my permission? So it's just good to listen, to be there, to sometimes I tell my clients, you really don't have to give names. You don't even have to mention as much about, you know, clearly what's happened. If you can't, if you don't feel up to it, just talk. Just tell me what you feel like talking about. Tell me what you can. And some I've had clients, it takes 2 3 meetings before they even begin to tell their story because they're sizing you up. They want to know, how much do you know, are you judging, are you empathetic, are you somebody who can even solve their problem, does it make sense to talk about it? So how do people get to a point where they can be vulnerable? Again, the vulnerable are strong. It's strength to be able to talk about the things you've been through to help others. Strength, absolute strength. You must have, head over the matter. You must really be in a good place before you begin to talk about what's happened to you. People only seek help when they think, okay, I want to deal with this. I know I've been hurt and I want to know what to do about it. So they're already in a place where they've resolved a conflict of, should I talk about it or shouldn't I talk about it? So most people who come to me are at the point where they're encouraged either by family or friends, or they've gotten to a point when they say, I want healing. I want to be healed. I want to get stronger. I want to resolve this. I want to know how to deal with this. Um, Again, um, if we don't talk, nobody knows what's going on with you. And speaking out doesn't mean shouting out to the world. It could be talking with your friend. It could be talking with your mom. It could be talking with family. It could be talking with a group of friends. It could be with people who are going through similar things as you are going through. And then they support you. You get a lot of support. You know that you're not alone. You get stronger and you begin to you know um, give more and more to other people. It's always very important to be able to distinguish between personal issues and a public problem, because you see, if your objective is to solve a public problem because of your personal issues, then it's very powerful. Yes, then it's really very powerful. But when isn't that personal issue where you're still dealing with shame, guilt, and you have to deal with that conflict. You can't be in that very delicate state, and come out. People will crush you. People will crush you. People are a bit unforgiving. A lot of people are hurting, and you look like somebody who hurt them. So they might crush you. So you must, you know, gradually, gradually come out of it. Yeah. So I encourage people to find a safe place to talk, find a good person to talk with, and then begin to find out if it's a public issue that you can really help to address and support. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I've literally learned a lot from all this. Thank you. Thank you. So,
You're welcome.
Faith. Oh, thank you, Faith. Your story is quite peculiar. Okay. During the introduction, we heard that you had, you're a TB champion, like you prefer to be called. So in your own case, you did not have a choice of opening up because your case was literally obvious, and and the dynamics of your case, people literally have to stay away from you. Um, Faith is off the call, so people literally have to stay away from you. Faith is out of the call currently, so I guess her network is having a little. She's having a little bit of network challenge. So I'm going to get back to her in a bit. Um, I'm adding her back up. Okay, Faith, can you hear me? Please unmute yourself and let me know if you can hear me.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello? Hello?
I can hear you. Please, Islamiat, can you confirm you can hear her?
Yes, I can hear you as well.
Okay, Faith, I think you can hear us.
Yeah.
Can you hear us now? Can you hear me now?
Okay. The network is kind of bad in this place because it's rained cats and dogs. Yeah.
Okay,
So I
you
don't know
can
if you
switch off
can
the.
hear me.
Okay,
Hello?
so we can hear Faith, but she can't hear us.
Faith, we can hear you. Carry on, please.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, so we're going to get back. I'm going to have to chat her up to maybe disconnect and connect back. That would really help. But before I tell her that, I'm going to get back to you. Okay, she can't hear us. Okay, so I'm going to get back to you, Zamiat. Okay, can you hear me too? Let me confirm you can
Yes,
hear
I
me.
can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to be trying to get her back on the call, but let me get back to you. So, how do you manage self care and set boundaries when sharing deeply personal stories? Islamiyat.
Okay. Like Madam Umuta said, thank you so much. That was a very beautiful, talk. So, for me, it's been a journey. I didn't get to this stage of sharing my story yesterday, right? It took me 5 good years. And if you had asked me, even as at a year ago, we can know each other for months, to be very honest, and you wouldn't know a thing that I have a child. Because first of all, I don't look it, okay, and I just would not talk about it because I didn't think that I had the courage to. I didn't want you in my space, and I didn't think I had the courage and the strength to begin to break down and analyze everything. I would get all up in my emotions and might not be able to handle it, right? So for me, self care. One thing that I do is I speak to myself very well. Okay, I say my affirmations. and make myself understand that okay, my story isn't what will define who I am. So I make myself understand that all the challenges that I've gone through is what has molded me to becoming who I am today. So I say my affirmations very, very well. I don't joke with them. I say them, and also because people use my story to define me. They use my challenges to define me, and I constantly tell myself that okay, whatever anybody says when you are sharing or when they hear your story, whatever opinion they have, that's on them, right? You know who you are. You know what God has created you for. You know what you are made for. This thing you have gone through is just a phase in your life. So for me, I speak to myself constantly speak to myself. And community is key as well. The people around me encourage me. They encourage me. So even when I'm about to share or I've shared my story and 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 I'm feeling down, they're there to constantly, push me up and make me feel better and make me not regret telling the world or telling people about my experience. Right. So for me, I don't joke with how I speak to myself. I'm very kind to myself. Right. I don't let what I've gone define me basically. That's what I would say. I'm very kind to how I speak to myself. So affirmations are key for me. I'm heavy on affirmations. I'm very, very heavy on them.
Okay, thank you so much. So, in case you're wondering how you can manage self care and sharing your story, make sure your affirmations will be you take your affirmations seriously, and then community too, very very important. Okay, so I'm still trying to see if I can get Faith on the call. Our time is fast spent. We need to be rounding off any moment from now. Um, well, good thing is that Faith is number one, her story. She's one of my guests, okay, on the podcast, and her her story is supposed to be episode two, but I'm going to make her episode one just because she wasn't able to share her story with us now live. But you get to listen to the recorded session, okay? I mean, what she's about to share is just a tip of the iceberg when it comes to what she actually shared on the in the studio. Okay. So it's time for us to take questions. Please, if you have questions from for any of our panelists, do well to drop it on the chat. Then if you want to come on the call, please feel free to click on the link I'll be sending right now back there. Please click on the link and you'll be called you I'll see you here and I'll literally bring you up on stage. Okay. So please your questions now if you have any. Um China Mogo, I hope you are ready to pick up from where you stopped. Is there any other thing I'm missing out? Please let me know if you have any question. Okay, China Mogo, are you ready? So you'll be taking up hosting the rest of the show. Thank you so much, Islamiat. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and effort to be here. Thank you so much, Madam Mota. I don't take this for granted. Okay, thank you so much, everyone that joined as well. All right, Chinalo Morgo, please. The floor is yours.
Thank you.
Okay, hey guys, and welcome back. Not like you ever left. I'm having a bit of a technical issue, so you guys cannot see my beautiful face anymore, sadly. It's wow. Okay, so this was a beautiful session. I liked how the women what is it called? Share their life stories, and it's pretty inspiring, and I'd really want to make personal comments on Mrs. Mota David. I'm sure she's on the road and doing this for us. Thank you. We celebrate you, Ma, for being here with us. It's a good one. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was an inspiring
Welcome.
session. I don't know about you, but I feel very inspired. Okay, so guys, keep your questions coming. If you have any question, this is your time to keep it on. If you have any questions, let's quickly take them and then we call it a day because we are running out of time. Okay, so let's have your questions if there are any, or we tell us because you've done a good job. We loved everything. There are no questions. We understand everything. We're going to do what you say. Jesus is King. Amen and amen. Is that how it's going to be? All right then. I guess that's we are done with that. So thank you so much, guys, and okay, so we're rounding this off. We're about to get this off already, and the next thing we want to do is a montage. Now, what
Interesting.
is this? So this podcast is going to be released immediately after this launch, so you don't even have to wait. So you can follow up on social media for updates and all what's not. So it's gonna drop immediately. But we want you to kind of experience a tip of the iceberg, what to expect from the podcast. So we're going to be playing two episodes, about 2 minutes for each, and we're going to call it a day. Okay. So we can't eventually exactly do all this talk, and in this virtual launch, and we're not giving you a tip of the iceberg, telling you what to expect. So fasten your seatbelts, get your popcorn. We are about to have a montage for you to experience what Linda has cooked on this podcast, Shattered Silence. Linda, let's have it.
Interesting episode of Shattered. Hello and welcome to another interesting episode of Shattered Silence, a podcast that uncovered the untold stories of resilience, strength, and personal triumph. And today I have, why are you guys laughing and smiling already? Yeah, I have some beautiful people. We are all single. Yeah, but I mean single, we're not married.
Yes, very good clarification.
And interestingly, we're all at that right age to get married. And society wouldn't just stop, shoving it down our throat. When will you marry? When will you marry? So we are basically here to talk about all those societal pressures and how we've navigated through the challenges, the worst case scenario for you, and all whatnot, right?
The ladies are even worse because you just hear this lady is married, this one is married, this one is married, and you're like, whoa, what's happening to me? Well, is it that things are happening over there and it's not happening in my life? And you just want to look at it and be like, man, I just have to get married. But there's this reality of there are a lot of persons, but who do you get to marry?
Mm. Mm. Can you relate to that with a lot of people?
He's a man. So I think for men, they have the women are always at their beck and call most times. Like they just get to choose, like selecting this. I want this. I want Irish potato. I don't want sweet potato and this and that. A lady of my age definitely is under pressure. In fact, pressure from, it starts with basically family members. When you are going for functions, you say, Chema, you've grown. Oh. When are we coming to eat rice? Like my former church, they asked me that question. When are we coming to eat rice? My present church, when are you coming to eat rice? My family members, everybody, when are you coming to eat rice? Where is the uncle? Where is the brother? Like, can I not just breathe? Like, let the single breathe. Like, that was one of the reasons, in fact, why I had to leave, like, my parents' place. Wow. And come out. Yes, because you're facing the questions every day. You're in the house. You're too old to be like what? Like,
But is it that they don't even feel empathic when they say these things? Like I can't even imagine saying such to someone. Like when will you marry? But how do you try to maintain your sanity and not let it get to you? And not let you like question God when? Have you had to question God when, by the way?
sometimes.
I did not want to still believe that it was cake. Do you get?
Yeah.
You know that feeling?
That
yes.
After everything, because your friends must have know that you're already in UK.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I even had some, kind of side talk. People were
both good and
bad. They're like,
every
after master's cake. Now what? Frustration. Anyway, and then one day I just said, you know what? Let me just start this on the side and see I didn't really know it was going to get this serious. Yeah. Because even while I did that, I was still doing my applications. I was still talking to people. I was still going to for bank interviews. So I just started baking. My first order, it wasn't an order. I baked for free. So I baked 120 cupcakes just to give my friends
Oh,
to
wow.
try out. And then after that thing I did, others started coming. Some days I come to the bakery, I just sit in my office and cry. After crying, I clean my eye and continue. Do you get? Maybe cry because a lot of things going on. I'm overwhelmed, or maybe my oven stopped working, and then NEPA cut my lights because I've not, and then FIRS taxes saying I've not paid taxes. You know that kind of thing. So you would calm down, clean the eye. You get write down.
Exactly. What needs to be done?
When you do this one, you tick.
Okay.
When you do the second one, you tick it, and then move on.
Oh my God. I think I'm more interested. I'm very interested in that first one. You see that when will you marry? When will you marry? When will you marry? They even ask me this one. They ask me this morning, when will you marry? Well, I'm not even 23. So these questions and more are what Linda is going to answer and share people's experiences with on her podcast, Shattered Silence. So to call it today, we're going to have her give her vote of thanks and thank you all for being here. It's been an amazing evening. Okay, Linda, you have the floor.
So much. Thank you so much, Chinadoro Mogo. I appreciate. For the fact you came through. You have something in the next an hour, 30 minutes, and here you are, handling this session for me and for us all. Thank you so much. I do not take it for granted. Thank you. To everyone who has joined, who has dropped off on the way, who is yet to watch the replay, who is currently watching. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, if you've been on my status, you would have seen back to back. I was giving everybody update. Get ready, get ready. Yeah, we are here. We've done it. And thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much in believing in this black girl. Thank you so much, Felix. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my panel, my guest. Okay, thank you so much. A special thanks to Madame Motat. Special thanks to Islamiat. Thank you so much, Faith, for joining. I'm so sorry that you weren't able to come on the call because of network issues. But I'm going to be playing your video. I'm going to put down the one I'm going to play as episode one and play us as episode one instead, just to get your story out there already, because I could see the zeal in you, but some days technical issues are like that. Okay, and special thanks to Almighty God. Okay, thank you, God. All right, please subscribe. Okay, this is a new YouTube channel. I just started this journey. The whole idea is to let the story be out there, help people by sharing our experiences. Do well to share this video to someone who will need it. Okay, share on your story, get the link, share on your story. Thank you everyone that has made our time this evening, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you're joining up from, to be here. I appreciate. I do not take this one for granted. Seriously, from the depth of my heart. Thank you. Thank you, Midday. Trina wouldn't be here, okay, but thank you, Midday, for playing and serenading us. In case you missed Midday's, musical performance, please rewind. Rewind. You need to listen to her play. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you, and thank you. I do not know if Chi Nalurumo will have any other thing to say. Uh
Okay, yeah, this is also me saying thank you. Thank you, Linda, for the opportunity to do this. And I'm also excited for your podcast. I can't wait to see the magic you've created. And we hope we are able to track issues that are really ravaging the society with this podcast. Thank you and have yourself a lovely night. Bye.
all right. Bye.
All right. Bye, everyone.